Starting also, this is going to run also simultaneously in Facebook, as I usually do. And we are in Corona land, so we're doing it from home basically, and we're studying Shmuel I, chapter 22, verse 11, and let's just have a slight. I guess Marty wasn't here in a while, so let's have a little bit of some sort of an overview of where we are. So David is on the run. He discovered after 3 days of hiding in the field and waiting for Jonathan, the son of Saul, to tell him what does he think he needs to do. He realized that he needs to run away because Saul is adamant about capturing him and probably killing him. So he's on the run, and Saul is really after him, and Saul is in a very funny, unstable type of state of mind. He's suffering from depression. He's thinking that everybody is ganging up on him. Let me just he's basically feeling that people betrayed him. He had a good reason to think that because his own son, Jonathan, is very good friend with his arch rival David. So, if his son betrayed him, he feels that everybody else follow suit, and he sees wherever he turns and wherever he looks, he sees problems. And he sees that people are not telling him all the truth on time in a way that he can act properly or react to the truth in real time. So he's sitting there. He left his palace and he's sitting in Ramah, which is somewhere in the area there, near Yerushalayim, north of Yerushalayim a little bit. And he feels that he was betrayed. And people did not tell him that David is running away, and that David is where David is, and now he hears from Doeg. Doeg is one of his advisors, one of his top advisors, probably the most important one of them. He was the head of the Sanhedrin at the time, and he's seeing Doeg saw that he's so distraught and he's so upset and he's so blaming everybody. So he decided to spill the beans and tell him, by the way, I think that I have more information about people who betrayed you, and this is none other than the high priest. The high priest of the day was a gentleman by the name of Achimelech ben Achituv. He was the great grandson of Eli Kohen, and he's the one that David, as he was running away from Saul after being hungry for 3 days and not having anything but the shirt on his back, stopped over there at the high priest, who was in the city of Nov, which was the city that was housing the tabernacle at that time, and he was asking him for food and some ammunition, basically. So he gave him food, he gave him bread, a few loaves of bread, and he gave him the sword of Goliath, and sent him on his way. Achimelech thought to himself that this is legitimate business. And David told him that he's basically going in some sort of a secret mission in the name of the king, and he had to run fast and to leave town very quickly, and that nobody should know where he's going, so he couldn't take anything with him. And now he stopped at a person who is can guard the secret, and please give me some help. So Achimelech, being knowing who David was and knowing how important he is, and knowing the value of David HaMelech from in general, he recognized who David was. So he lent him the help that was requested, and happened to be that Doeg, the advisor to King Saul, was there present at the time, because Doeg was the head of the Sanhedrin. Doeg was a big Talmid Chacham, and he would often go to spend time with the priests, with the Kohen Gadol and with the other Kohanim, and to learn and to study and to understand, to deal with the business of the Sanhedrin, which was usually sitting, around the tabernacle, the Bet HaMikdash, or whatever. So he was there, and he saw David coming and going, and he saw the bread changing hands and the sword changing hands. And now, standing in front of Saul, who's very upset and blaming the whole world and his brother for betraying him, he's spilled the bean and said, by the way, this guy, the high priest, also betrayed you and also helped David. And David snuck into the house, which was wrong. He was lying a little bit, because he didn't come to the private home of Achimelech. He came to the tabernacle, David. That's how Doeg saw him. But he made it sound like he came to the private home of Achimelech. He snuck into a private meeting. And he was giving selective information in such a way that he sort of knew what the reaction is going to be. When you have a king in distress, and he knew the king inside out, he caused him he directed the king towards the exact reaction that he was looking for. So that brings us to where we are in chapter 22, verse 11. So as soon as Saul hears that Achimelech, the high priest, was helped David run away. וישלח המלך לקרוא את אחימלך בן אחיטוב הכהן. So the King Saul sent to call אחימלך בן אחיטוב, and ואת כל בית אביו הכהנים אשר בנוב. And he called not only him, he called all of the priests, all of the Kohanim. ויבואו כולם אל המלך. That was an unusual move, a radical move, which, we all know how it ended very badly for all of those. They all died, except one, they were all killed. But it was something very, very unusual. Now, it happened before that some people in the annals of the world, for sure, and the history of the Jewish people as well, that some people made a mistake and people around them suffered. For example, at the time of Pilegesh Bagiva, only a few people raped that poor concubine, but the war was afterwards against the entire tribe of Benjamin, because they didn't give the people in, they didn't extradite them. And there were several other occasions of that nature. He felt that if the head of the Kohanim is against him, the likelihood is that the rest of them are also to blame. So, ויאמר שאול שמנה, ויבואו כולם אל המלך, so they all, and we will see later, they're all dressed up very, festive, in festive clothes, because it was not common that they were all summoned to the king. ויאמר שאול שמנה בן אחיטוב, ויאמר הנני אדוני. So Shaul is starting to talk to the high priest. Now, we know that the name of a person is very, if maybe you should mute yourself, whoever is that that's making noise.
Hello?
All right. Okay.
Hello? Hello?
It's,
Hello?
I'm trying to mute Ivan. All right, I mute Ivan. All right. So, sorry about that. We all sort of knew it, learning under the corona, the spell of corona. So we'll get better at it slowly. Anyway, so we all know that the name of a person is very important. You know, when we talk about a very evil person, like say Hitler, we always add, in Hebrew at least, Yimach Shmo, that may his name be erased. When we are reading the Megillah on Purim, whenever the name Haman shows up, we try to drown it with our groggers, because the name of a person is an important thing. So Shaul obviously knows that, and when he feels that someone is not with him, and he knows that he is representing God on earth, basically. God sent him to be the king of the Jews, so he is the messenger of God. So he feels that someone who goes against him goes against God. So when someone goes against him, he's not mentioning his name. And we saw it before several times, and we'll see it in the next verse. When he talks about David, he doesn't mention David, it just says Ben Ishai. He doesn't even want to mention the name of David. And here too, he's addressing the high priest, Ben Achituv, not mentioning his first name, Achimelech, which should have been a big clue to Achimelech of what's coming. Vayomer Hineni Adoni. So the high priest is answering, yes, sir. How So Shaul starts blaming him. He's not asking him whether you helped, whether you were underhanded. He's telling him, listen, you rebelled against me, you conspired against me. Lama I said, why did you conspire against me? Not if you conspired. It's for sure that you did. But why did you do that? Atav Ben Ishai, you and the other kid, that I don't mention his name, just the name of his father, Ben Ishai. Betitcha lo lechem v'cherev v'sh'olo be'elokim lakum elai le'orev k'yom hazeh. When you gave him, so why did you conspire with David, with the son of Ishai, to go against me? And you gave him bread, and you gave him a sword, and this is a key point here, and you asked for him a question from the breastplates, from the Urim Betumim, from the breastplates. The high priest would wear them on his chest and was able to communicate with God with a very specific way of asking, and the letters would be showing up, would highlight in sequence, and you would have to know how to put them together, and that's how we would get the answer about the specific question that he asked. Now, who was entitled to ask the breastplates? Only the high priest was able to run that procedure. But who's the one that was allowed to initiate the question? And that is a disagreement. There is one opinion that it's only the king. Only the king of the Jews is allowed to ask the high priest to ask of the breastplate and to get an answer. And there is an opinion, which is the opinion of David, which is the halacha, which is what we agreed upon halacha, is that not only the king himself, but also a messenger of the king or someone who is representing the king for the betterment or for the benefit of the entire Jewish community is also allowed to ask that. Now, Doeg, who was the advisor and the head of the Sanhedrin, he was of the opinion that only the king himself is allowed to ask, no one else. David disagreed. Halacha ke David. So David went to the high priest, and as he was running away, he asked him, what should he do? Should he run? He was asking for a good advice as to what to do next. And the priest, knowing that David is coming as the son-in-law of the king, in the name of the king, he's allowed to ask. So he asked the question. And that ticked off two people. He ticked off first Doeg, because Doeg saw that the question was asked not by the king. And he felt that now Achimelech is going against him as well, because he decided that the halakha is, of course, like David, that not only the king himself physically has to be there, but he can send a messenger. So that is really what made him snitch on Achimelech and get him in trouble. So Saul is spilling that now, is spitting it at Achimelech, basically telling him, you gave him water, you gave him a sword, and you asked God for him, and all of that in order to undermine me. Now, just as an obvious point here is that the breastplate is not Google. It's not like typing a question anybody can type and get an answer. You're talking to God. So God has some, when you type to Google a question, it answers no matter who you are. God does not answer if the question is not properly asked or properly asked by. So the fact that there was a question and answer happening with David ought to tell you that, it's okay. Otherwise, if I would walk there and ask the question, I'm not going to get an answer. Anyway, so Vayan Achimelech. So Achimelech thought to himself, listen, this whole system worked. Who am I to override the answer of God? I mean, I'm smarter than Google, Vayan Achimelech et HaMelech, Vayomar, Umi bechol avadecha keDavid ne'eman. So Achimelech is answering, trying to save his life, and answering to the king. And he's answering in present tense. Not that I thought then and now I think differently, but I think right now. What I'm saying, I think right now. Who is right now trusted amongst all of your servants, your highness, the king? David, right? Ne'eman, and v'chatan HaMelech, and he's the son-in-law. V'sar mishmatcha, and he's following all of your orders. V'nichbad bebetecha, and he's very respected in your household. You gave him your daughter. And not only you gave him your daughter, you made him this he's not saying it here, but this is the result of it. He made him a commander. He made him the head of the army or part of the army. And everybody was respecting him, including all of the house of Saul. So, and this is in present tense. I feel that right now. Hayom achiloti lisholo. So he's asking a question, a rhetorical question. Today I start asking the breastplate for David? It's something that's going on for a while. Because it seems that Saul sent David to ask for the breastplate, or David felt that it's necessary for the wars, because David was conducting wars and battles to save the Jewish people in the Saul. So it's not the first encounter that he had with the breastplates and the high priest. So Ayom echarti lishol. Today I'm the first time that I asked for David in the breastplate. Beloki chalilali. Of course not. God forbid. And then he says, Al yasem hamelech be'avdo davar b'chol bet avi. Now he understood finally why everybody is here, and he's now answering Saul about the fact that Saul is not mentioning his name. He's telling him Ben Achituv. He is calling him the name of of the household of his father, and all of the household is here. All of the people are here. Meaning he's blaming everybody. So now Achimelech is answering, don't blame the entire household here. Ki lo yada avdecha bechol zot. I didn't know any of this. I didn't know that David is not loyal. I didn't know that David is after you. I didn't know that I should not help him. I didn't know any of it. Davar katon o gadol. I didn't know any small or big things. I had no idea. Vayomer HaMelech mot tamut. Wow. That was a shocker to everybody around. The king renders his decree, his the verdict. Mot tamut, you are going to die. Achimelech, ata v'chol bet avicha, you and all of your household. That was something totally unexpected. Why was it unexpected? Because, and Achimelech didn't even think that this is coming, because Achimelech is used to judging and used to making decisions based on Torah, based on the laws of Torah and Halacha. Now, and he knew that if we're going to follow the laws of Torah, there is a very strict set of guidelines as to how to question a witness. He saw that Doeg was standing right there, and he realized who told him, because Doeg was present there when Achimelech met David. So he knew that who is the one that caused all this havoc, and he knew that if the witness is going to be questioned just a little bit, everything is going to be resolved, and the truth will come to light, and everybody will know that he didn't do anything against the king. But the problem is, and this is what Shmuel warned the whole people, the whole country, the whole nation, he warned them before he inaugurated Saul, or at the inauguration, I think before actually. He told them that when you're going to have a king, you'll have to deal with a whole set of laws. Of course, we all have to follow the laws of Torah, but you also will have to follow the laws of the king. Dina de Malchuta, right? When the king is saying something, unless it's contradicting the laws of Torah, which it's not contradicting, it's just not following the guidelines. It's not following the guidelines of how to check the witnesses. But if the king feels that there is rebellion, the king feels that someone is going against him, and he's obviously going against him, the guy is running away from him, he is entitled to be as harsh as he likes to. And Shmuel warned the people that this is what's going to happen, and this is where the divergence between the laws of Torah and the laws of the king took two opposite roads, and Achimelech ended up being trapped in the middle, and the decree was that he will die. Now, Shaul also seems to make mistake after mistake, trying to correct the old mistake by messing up again. When he was inaugurated, people were laughing at him. That's how we Jews do it. Give us a king, give us a king. As soon as we got the king, who needs this king? That's basically what happened. Some hoodlums, some people were laughing at him. Who is this guy? Who knows? Why should he be? And at that time, he did not do anything to those people. Now, he also was asked to kill entire people of the entire nation of Amalek, and he didn't do that fully either. What he did, he just killed almost everybody except the king and some of the livestock. And he was criticized greatly by Shmuel. He didn't see, in fact, Shmuel didn't see him since that mistake occurred. So now he decides, now I'm going to fix all those mistakes of the past. Now I'm going to kill them all. Now that I feel that someone is not doing the right thing, and the truth is with me, because they're going against the king, and I'm the king that was put by God, so let me kill the entire thing, not only the entire family, the entire city. It was a city that's made out of 86 Kohanim priests, and their wives and young children, and they had some servants as well. And this is the right time to do what I didn't do correctly before, and obviously it was wrong then and it's wrong now. ויאמר המלך לרצים הניצבים עליו סובו והמיתו כהני השם. So now he's telling the people around him, in a second we'll mention who those people were. Sovu v'amitu kohanei Hashem. You should turn around and kill all of the priests, God's priests. So what he's saying is he's agreeing that those are the priests of God, but the dina de malchuta, the laws of the king, trumps their status as the priest of God as well, which is incredible. And ki gam yadam in David, because they also are participating, they are also supporting David. V'chi yadu ki borechu, and they knew that he's running away. V'lo galu et ozni, and they didn't reveal my ears, they didn't tell me all about it. V'lo avu, so he's telling those people around him, which will again be mentioned in a second who they were. V'lo avu avdei hamelech lishloach et yadam lifgor bekohanei Hashem. And those people refused to kill the priests. So who were those people that he was asking to kill the priests? So there was one of them. There were two people mentioned in the Medrash. One of them is Avner ben Ner, which is his uncle, and his Shaul's uncle, and Shaul's head of the army. And the other gentleman is Amasa ben Yeter. Okay? Amasa is David's nephew. David had several brothers, as we know, but he also had a sister. His sister was called Avigail. He also had a wife called Avigail, but that's a different person. So David HaMelech had a sister called Avigail, and she had a child called Amasa. And Amasa was helping David it was helping Shaul. It was one of Shaul's lieutenants. It was a gibor, a hero. Now, this Amasa dude afterwards helped Avshalom when Avshalom, the son of David, rebelled against David. So he helped him. He became the Sar HaTzava. He became the head of the army for Avshalom. So Amasa and Avner ben Ner eventually died in the hands of another nephew of David HaMelech. His name was Yoav ben Tzruya. So one of the brothers of David was Tzruya. So and his son was Yoav, who became David's head of the army. I have this cheat sheet here that has all of the. I guess I'll send it maybe, so people can see it's showing maybe upside down, reverse. But this is the lineage of all of the personalities that we're mentioning. In any event, Avner ben Ner and Amasa, which is David's nephew, were standing there. They're one of the top officers of Saul, and Saul tells them, "You kill now all of these people that I decreed, I sentenced to death." And they say no. And they were praised for it. They were praised by God for it, that they stood up to it, but they were also criticized that they didn't stand up fully, because later on we'll see in the next verse that the sentence will be carried out by Doeg himself, and they stood there and didn't do anything to stop him. But what's more interesting is that here you see two more people who are close to Saul who are going against him. Yonatan, his son, is the good friend with David. Avner ben Ner, which is his uncle and the head of the army, and Amasa, his nephew, one of the generals, are standing there, and he tells them, I'm as the king decreeing to kill those people, and go ahead, carry out the sentence. And they said no, and nothing. They will not mention anything that he did to them. Slowly, the situation is becoming clearer to Shaul himself, that he is in deep problems. But anyway, but in order to, when the king is say, do something and nothing is being done, deterrence, his whole authority is going to be diminished and evaporate. So the king turns to Doeg, who is standing right there. He was the witness, right? So Vayomer Hashem leDoeg, Sov ata ufga b'kohanim. So he tells him, so you're the witness. And the law, the Jewish law is when you have a capital sentence and the person is sentenced to death, the witnesses are the ones who are supposed to be carrying the punishment first. So if it's stoning, they're the first ones to drop the first stone, to carry out. Because so they're not going to take their duty as the testimony so lightly. They're going to say something and then they're going to go away. They'll have to carry out the sentence. So Doeg, who was the only witness here, and he's calling him here Doeg, because it's not Doeg but Doeg, which is if you read the word Vav Yud, it says spells Vai, like Oivei. That's where the Oivei comes from. Ochun Vei, that this is where we ended up. But so you should turn and you should execute all of the Kohanim. Vayisov Doeg Edomi vayifgahu b'Kohanim. So he is a mighty guy, a strong guy, and he does that and kills 85 people. Vayamad bayom hahu 85 ish nosei efod bad. So all of the 85 people out of the 86, which we'll see, who came in, he killed himself, and not only the people. Nov, where the Kohanim are coming from, was a neighboring town to Ramah, very close by. So they proceeded to go to Nov, Vet Nov ira Kohanim ika lefi charev, and he himself also continued, obviously with the help of the army. The whole army surrounded the area and didn't let the people escape. Hika lefi charev, mi'ish ve'ad isha, from men, women, me'olel v'ad yonek, from infant to a child, v'sho v'chamor v'seh lefi charev, and all of the livestock, exactly what Shaul was told to do with Amalek, he is now doing to his own people, to the people, and the most religious people who were the leaders of the Jewish people. A lot of them were part of the Sanhedrin, and Doeg was the head of the Sanhedrin. He knew them personally. It's crazy, it's disgusting, it's insane what was going on over there. And he killed everything and everybody. He himself, the king told him to do it, so he carried out. Can you imagine walking around and killing so many people? And at that moment, by the way, he lost his entire status amongst the Jewish people. Nobody listened to him. They all were laughing at him and threw him out. Disregarded him completely, and he ended up dying at the age of 34, exactly half of the time that he was supposed to live. And he was supposed to live 68 years. He died halfway through because of this terrible injustice that he carried. וימלט בן אחד לאחימלך בן אחיטוב ושמו אביתר ויברח אחרי דוד. However, thank God, only one person, at least one person was saved, and that is the son of Achituv. His name is Evyatar, and he ran away after David. This Evyatar dude was very, very instrumental afterwards. He became the high priest. When David rose to power, he made Evyatar the high priest, and Evyatar afterwards stayed with David during the time that Avshalom was rebelling against him. Just as an overview, on Evyatar, David didn't want to fight his son because he knew that if they're going to fight, one of them will die, and he didn't want to kill his son. So he ran away from Yerushalayim and sort of yielded to Avshalom. And only a handful of people ran away with him, and one of them was Evyatar. So Aviatar supported him during the war of Avshalom. However, when it came time to transfer the baton to the next generation, to King Shlomo, he didn't go with Shlomo. He was supporting Adoniyahu. Right before David's death, Adoniyahu, which was the oldest son, decided that he is the one that's going to take over, and he knew that David was about to hand it over to Shlomo, and he didn't want that, so he started a rebellion of his own, and Aviatar joined him. And after that, obviously that didn't work, and Adoniyahu didn't end up being the king. But Shlomo was supposed to sort of cleanse, get rid of all of those people who were against David when David was alive. But the Aviatar, he didn't kill. He didn't kill because he remembered that he was supporting his father for a long time. The official reasoning was because he carried the Ark of God. He merited to carry the Ark of God. When David brought the Ark to Yerushalayim, someone had to carry it. Only the priests are allowed to do it. He was one of those who carried the Ark of God, so Shlomo didn't want to touch it. But anyway, at this point, he's young. He just escaped a terrible massacre, and he became super loyal to David until 40 years later, or 41 years later, when he sort of lost it a little bit. Now, he's the one that witnessed the massacre, and so he came to David and told him David was at the time hiding in the mountains with 400 hoodlums, basically, a militia of all kinds of people that had it hard. So he came to David and told him the story that Shaul killed all of the priests. ויאמר דוד לאביתר, so he told him, ידעתי ביום ההוא כי שם דואג האדומי, כי הגד יגיד לשאול. I knew it, said David. That day, when I went to Achimelech and I saw Doeg over there, I knew that he is going to end up snitching and telling Shaul, אנוכי סבותי בכל נפש בית אביך. It's my fault. David is really devastated. He feels that it's so bad that it's because of him that all of those priests and the father of Aviatar were killed. And as a result, David is staying away from people. We'll see in the next chapter, he's going to help a city, and even when he helps a city, he runs away right away. So he's not going to be. So the people are not going to be associated with him in any way, shape, or form. So they're not going to suffer. So. And he's basically not sleeping in any particular place for long, because and when he is, it's in a deserted place, so no one else will suffer that terrible fate. So with Aviatar, and Aviatar doesn't know what to do because David also is in on the run. So what should Aviatar do? So David is talking him into staying alone. Staying with him. Shvaiti al tira, he tells him, it's your life is on me. Yasher yevakesh et nafshi yevakesh et nafshecha. That whoever is going to look for me or chase me, they'll chase you. And I'm going to I'm going to guard you. So basically you'll be with whatever happens to me happens to you. And that's how he saves Aviatar. Now, I wanted to take the last few minutes to review chapter 52 in Tehillim. Chapter 52 in Tehillim is the chapter that David wrote to describe the events of the day. We know, as we mentioned last time, that we have the benefit of reading the history in the book of Shmuel, was written by Shmuel I, and also to hear the perspective of David himself on all of these important events, and there are certain issues that are becoming more clear when we read chapter 52. So chapter 52 starts, למנצח משכיל לדוד. This is it's a song of a certain kind, of more of a logical song that I sang בבוא דואג האדומי, that when I sang when Doeg came to Shaul and told him that David visited the house of Achimelech, which is exactly what happened in our chapter. And he's mentioning, so there are a lot of midrashim that are explaining and mentioning exactly what David was thinking here, and we're going to just one of the things that was mentioned is that Doeg is very much jealous. Is jealous of David from way back from the time of Goliath. When after he won the war against Goliath, he killed him. David, the reward was to marry the son of the king, and he tells him, "How can you marry the daughter of the king? He's a descendant of Ruth. Ruth is a Moabite." This whole thing, which we mentioned several times in the past, on the third pasuk, he says, "Ma titalel bera'ah gibor chesed el kol hayom." He says, "Why are you?" He's telling Doeg, "Why? Who are you bullying? Who are you strong against? The priests? That's who you're trying to push around." It's like you're going to a roof and pushing someone off the roof, and because you're a big bully, calm down. That's not. What did they do? That's not fair, because all of the Jewish people in general are very charitable people, and you think that I couldn't find bread somewhere else? If it wasn't for this guy, I would find bread somewhere else. So why are you, mitpalelav? How do you say? Why are you starting with this guy and trying to destroy him? For what and for when? And he said here a very key word, that chesed elai kol hayom, and he says that he's not. That's in pasuk zayin. In pasuk zayin he says, "V'shoshecha me'eretz chaim selah." He's telling him, because you did all of that, we're going to uproot you from olam haba. We're going to uproot you from the place where we all end up, where all of our neshamot end up in, and you're not going to be there. You wanted to uproot me, David, from olam haba by saying that I'm not Jewish. You yourself are going to end up being expelled from that. And the Medrash is saying that the David HaMelech had 10 enemies, 5 Jewish and 5 not. And Doeg was one of the 5 Jewish enemies that David had. And he's mentioning also the whole jealousy, but he ends up like always. David always end up his psalms with an uplifting note. אותך לעולם כי עשיתי ואקווה שמך כי טוב נגד חסידיך. כי עשית. That I'm going to thank you, God, for everything that you did, and I'm going to hope that your name is going to be raised or being used for the benefit of your Hasidim, for the benefit of your followers. And again, it's a very, very, nowadays when we're sitting at home and all we have is a book of Tilim and some other books of that nature, it's probably something good that we're being advised to, no matter what happened out there, no matter how difficult it is, to just take a book of Tilim or Siddur and daven a little bit, and may God grant us, all of us, the Jewish people, American people, the world, refuah shlema, and may we be all not cured, but not become sick altogether. Anyway, I'm wondering if the rabbi is here, because his session is starting right now, and he said he's going to come up. All right, if he's
I'm here, Jordan.
You're here. Wow. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dror.